few words that I will say now will be somewhat different in their format and in their tenure to my usual homilies, which tend to concentrate on the intent of the Sunday and on the content of the lesson and the gospel. But owing to this particular occasion, I will have to sort of skate around the field, and it will not be quite as intentional, shall we say, as it usually is. There are a number of things that press on me to be said, and that causes a difficulty because they have to be said briefly, which is totally contrary to my nature. So first of all, let me say that this is, so we hope, a very great step in the history of our little movement. We have been here before. We have held our Eucharist here in the fairly early 1970s, 74, 75, 76, and then for a variety of reasons we moved down to Hollywood Boulevard among the, well, shall we say, among the diverse and astonishingly weird populace of Hollywood, where we thrived really quite for 23.5 years or something like that, until a fire had chased us out, as fires are wont to do, and then we were here for about a 3-month period before going to Glendale Boulevard at our nice, much smaller, but very much beloved chapel where so many nice things have occurred also, where we were for 10 years and 10 months. And now, for the third time, we are back here. And as I was saying Mass, it occurred to me, at least to my geriatric mind, you know, which is sort of strange. I mean, the period of my life where I keep repeating with Leonard Cohen, I can't forget and I can't forget, but I don't remember what. So, you know, let's say all the lovely and great things that even we as a church, you know, did here in the 1970s and so forth. And as I am expressing my gratitude to my two fellow bishops, to my dear and long-time friend and sister, Bishop Rosamond, and my almost as long-time friend and brother, Stephen Marshall, that, you know, of all the lovely things that we have done here, and Bishop Rosamond, as a fairly newly ordained priest, celebrated numerous masses here in the 1970s. She came back at various times. She conducted the first Monsignor Day service that we had here, a number of things. And among the people who were ordained priests here and so forth, I think one of my friends of long ago, who I'm so happy to see, Reverend Daniel Hackett from Bishop Rosamond's bailiwick, who is here today. He was ordained here, which in turn was led to all kinds of developments, because there were some strange people who came to his ordination. One of them was a then very young gentleman with a patriarchal but totally blonde beard and with beautiful long flowing blonde hair. It was my friend John Francis Geltz, who came and he said, "This is what I want to do," when he saw Danny ordained. And well, he did it, and he is still doing it. So you have all kinds of interesting small and large things have occurred here before, and we are looked for more now in the future. So, you know, we are really very blessed to have been able to arrange for this place, for our activities, for our services. It belongs to the Theosophical Society, to which so many of us belong. We sincerely hope that this will be the center of our activities now for a long time. Now I think I need to probably sort of continue and possibly conclude by saying that, of course, yesterday, the 4th of July, an Independence Day, the national holiday, and whatever may be swirling around in the ether on the various media of Balderdash, I wish to affirm that all these years, including now and including in the future, I feel singularly blessed, fortunate, and consequently happy to be able to be and to do my work in the United States of America. And I am convinced, whatever the flapdoodle, it's another thing like Balderdash. Mother Blavatsky's favorite word, flapdoodle. Whatever the flapdoodle might be, I think that there is literally no place on earth where we could do what we are doing, as we are doing it, than in this country. And you know what? That's enough for me. Why? Because that's what I do. Why should I worry too much about anything else? And you know, this is very important. One has to have a setting for the jewel or the gnosis. It's like anything, you can collect nice stones, you know, like I had friends who were rock hounds and all that, real nice. But until they are in an appropriate setting, they are not quite what they should be. And the appropriate setting at this point for the Gnostic tradition is here. And for this we have to continue to be grateful, continue to be happy, continue to appreciate the blessings that we have as the result of that. Dear and wonderful man who died not very long time ago, our wonderful Mr. Ray Bradbury, whom it was my privilege to meet a few times, mainly at a friend of his, at the house of his friend and my then employer, Irving Stone. You know, wonderful gentleman. He wrote a fabulous poem which I've read on several 4th of July services. I'm not about to read it now. But it concludes, I think, repeatedly with the words, "We are the dream that other people dream." And you know, Ray Bradbury knew what dreams were good for. And he knew what this means. And these are the things that I think are extremely important to remember at this time. You know, one can always find fault, one can always criticize, especially if one has a fairly active mind, which I'm sure that is a common property of all people. But that's not what's important. What's important is how we are helped, how we are empowered by this nation, which has been set up, as certainly especially my brothers of the craft will keep in mind, it has been set up by some pretty wise people who had some very important principles in mind and who were connected to some very great forces. And so we are happy that we are here, even that we are in Hollywood, even that we are right under the Hollywood sign, so that all the tourists come around and stop us from parking and everything else. As far as I'm concerned, I'm happy and I'm grateful. I couldn't be more grateful. Honestly, no, I couldn't. Now, that being the case, why are we here? Very, very quickly. What do you say, Walter? That's what we have been doing, and we come here and so forth, yes. But you know, there are, let's say, there are not always apparent items and forces. We have a gift. Most of you have received it today. It has traditionally been called the body of Christ and the body of God, but call it what you will. It is a mean of grace. It is a mean of spiritual strengthening. It is the bread of the angels, the lifeblood of creation, which was given to us at a certain period of history. And it is mine and my associates' intention, I hope I speak for them, or at least for many of them, that we want to preserve that mystery. There are very strange things going on in the world. Of course, they always are, but maybe the ones today are a little stranger than at other times. And there are prophecies, and you know, I am as suspicious of prophecy as almost anybody. I go very much with the late sports figure Yogi Berra, a truly prophetic figure in his own right, who said to predict is difficult, especially when it's about the future. So, you know, it's a dicey proposition. But I would say my intuition, such as it be, conjoins with prophecies, the latest one being that of the great Gnostic poet of the 20th century, Carl Gustav Jung, and others before, including Blavatsky, whose picture looks down better, and a number of others, who all said that a new aeon is coming, and that this new aeon would be different from the old one. And then, you know, astrological factors, the age of Pisces, moving into it. But of course, it doesn't come overnight. That was the trouble with the 60s. They thought that, you know, here it was, Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. So it's a prolonged process. But in that prolonged process, in the long night where occasionally there is a flash of dawn, then the darkness comes down again. That's how it goes, you know. And it's in that dark night that we are right now. Well, not this minute, it looks like there's some light outside. But in that period of time, it's important that those who have something precious and valuable guard it, continue to practice it, and preserve it for the future. As far as I can see, and I'm sure that my friends and my fellow clergy and so forth have various ideas of their own. Some of them might not be terribly attuned to this idea, but I think that we are here very largely to guard that grail, to guard that mystery. It has been given to us. We have spiritually profited from it immensely. At some level of our being, not necessarily our thinking also, we know that how precious it is. And we want to guard it so that we can hand it over to the future generations and that it may become part of the new era. Because as Carl Jung has beautifully said, what this is really all about is giving to birth of the old in the new era. So people are terribly enamored of change. You know what? I'm not. I'm suspicious of change. You know why? Because I've seen so much change in my increasingly long life. That was change for the worse. You've got to keep that in mind. My friend, whom I'm so happy has come, my friend Father Charlie Wells, the only Monsignor whom I have created in our jurisdiction. Hi there, Charlie. You know, does remember at a memorable ordination service we had in Sedona, Arizona, where I asked people, you know, do you think, is this, how did I put it, is this essential? Is this all important? No, what we are doing here. People can get along with it, they get along with it in many places, but it helps. It helps. And many of us who are here know that it helps, and that's why we are here. And we want that help to go on. We want that help to be available to whatever circumstances and forces will come up in the future, and that will be our contribution. And that's why we are here. And that's why we seek a setting for the jewel. And we have once again found one. And we are grateful and we are happy. And we are grateful to all those who helped this to occur. And I'm grateful and happy that you're here. And I hope that as you can, circumstances, you'll come back as often as you can, because you have a nice place and some reasonably nice people, including perhaps myself, sort of, taking care of you and offering you various items for thought and for inspiration. And so thank you so very, very much for coming. And I'm going to invite two of my two fellow bishops to say a few words at this time. And I don't know, I know some people here think that the overhead fans and things that are totally useless. But maybe somebody will go back and turn on the overhead fans and anything else that they have, at least for the time being. Because we live with our air conditioning system, no? There they go, see, it's sort of a mandala, it turns and turning, ever turning, the good old songs of the past, the windmills of your mind, so there they are. Doesn't it feel a little better than it did before?
The problem is he turned the air conditioner off.
Why did we turn the air conditioner off?
Because it's
well, then I would think
that was the loudest setting. It was two settings quieter.
In any event, that's a technical detail over which we will keep on fighting, because that makes life interesting also. In any event, if she still hasn't dissolved into a puddle, this time I'll ask my dear sister Rosamond to say a few words to you.
Thank you, dear brothers and sisters, friends, new friends that I haven't met yet. I am grateful and delighted of being here today to celebrate and rejoice in moving to this place that has completed the full circle. I'd like to say some words about what you have said about being here in the United States. I remember in 1970, April 1970, I became an American citizen. And then I was asked by some senator that was leading the proceedings why, ask everyone else why was I here, why have I come? And there were various reasons that people said. My reason was, and I said, because I think this is a new Atlantis. This is the place of the future. I'm not coming to an America that has already been made and finished the product to take from it, even though it's always exchange of things, but I have come here to continue because the dream continues. The dream is still manifesting itself and evolving in many different ways, and it's up to us to make sure that the dream does not become a nightmare. That those of us that care keep it that way, and the perseverance and the love that we have for the line that have adopted us. Like Stefan, both of us are exiles from communist countries. And we both, I had to escape the skin of my teeth, looking at in Europe many years. When I came from Europe, wanted to have a place of freedom. But I have come here, I have come to this country like I am sure Stefan did. I know that you did too. I didn't know what form exactly it was going to take, but it was to bring and erecting a tent for the Holy Shekinah, for the Sophia, a tent for her mysteries, to create her temple. Right here we have come full circle. I came here in the 70s, living still in Northern California, but I have been from the earliest mass when Bishop Stefan began celebrating services here, moved to the Besant Lodge, and now we have come a full circle. We had a saga for similar reasons, parallel reasons. We have to leave our previous temples. The temples in which I felt, if we look at it at another level, not just the physical reasons that drove these situations, but if we bring it a little higher up in this, it is like the Holy Sophia has been swept away and expelled from her place of mysteries. It has happened many times. In the story, Gnostics continue having the recurring theme of exile. We are exiles in this planet. We are exiles and we come with a mandate to remind each other of our true home. Remind each other that no matter, like in the hymn of the pearl, the young man goes to the land of Egypt, and the land of Egypt is this world and the values of this world. And he forgets, he dresses like an Egyptian, he talks like an Egyptian, and he has the same interest of the Egyptians. He receives a call from his mother and father, the queen and king of the East, to return and to remind him of his robe of glory, his robes of kingship. And then he wakes up, he realizes what it is. We come here, it seems to me that's my own way of symbolically, allegorically expressing it. We come in a rescue mission, and very often we become casualties. And in the process of becoming casualties, there are others that have woken up and realized, this is not what I'm here for, and tap the other one in the shoulder. It's like in some temple initiations, I will add my light onto yours. We add our light. It's not that we come to take and to receive and to get anything from anyone, but it is to present our life. Like in the Eucharist, it's not compulsory to take communion, but it is here, it is available. The light that is not from our own personalities, but the light from here is available to us. And this place is an outpost of the mysteries, an outpost of the pleroma. Care for it, support it, make sure that you keep it going, not just for you, but for future generations. It may take, there are other places, other forms, but this is the place we have been called for. Those of us according to our personalities. Some of us maybe appeal to one thing and some others to another, but the awareness of these mysteries. I conflate very often the Holy Sophia with the Holy Shekinah. It's another name for the feminine principle, Shekinah, which is the feminine face of God. So, like Sophia, Christos Sophia is part of the same being. Like in the beginning in K3, the story of Adam and Eve having their back to back to each other and facing each other. But in the story of the Shekinah, she came here and abandoned the glory of her realm, like the Holy Sophia, and come here to dwell among her children. In the story of the Shekinah, when the temple was destroyed, there is a story where she goes around the temple with tears streaming down her eyes. And remember, these are metaphors that we may be representing deeper powers within ourselves. And she goes around the temple caressing the walls and kissing them and bathing them with her tears. And she saying to the walls, to the ruins of her temple, what when she had been expelled from it? Be at peace, my sanctuary. Be at peace, my holy house. Be at peace. In a way, for ourselves, our own temples, at times our temples fall into ruins. Things happen, external situations that do not come because we have created. Some of them we converge. Certain situations happen and we happen to go and crossing the street at the same time that another person comes at full speed and creates a disaster. So when things happen and converge, we have to remember that still there is that spirit, there is that presence that says, be at peace, my holy house. We can be sick, we can be dying, we can suffer financial ruin, we can suffer abandonment in every way, but there is that light in there. Don't let the world fool us. Let us let the world fool us and making us believe that this is all there is, because there is so more than that. Sure, grief and pain is natural. We are humans. We don't want to become robots. We want to have emotions. This is, we are humans. We have emotions and we are suffering. But now, after all this have happened into Stefan's sanctuary, we have some parallel things. Even the color scheme here, it is in the same family of the color scheme unbeknownst to us that we have selected these colors. That's what I have made when simultaneously we were preparing our own temples. This is the task of the Gnostics. My brother, my spiritual brother and friend and teacher, that without you perhaps I wouldn't have had, this would not have been when I said that I didn't know what form it was going to take. It has taken the forms because of my dear brother from all eternity, Bishop Stefan. And so it's a time to really thank you, and thank you for all the work you do in this place, and thank to everyone that supports us, that continue the support, the benefactors, that those past, those that continue constantly helping the work to be this way. And in this time of rejoice, and in this time of opening the heart with an incredible love, because it's a time of love and rejoicing. I don't use the word love very often, because that means, like I love single malt scotch, and I love beer. This is not the love I'm talking about. It's another kind of love. A love that is not personal in the sense it's not an exchange of object and subject, that is a love that comes not from me, but it comes through. And it's a love from beyond that flows. And there stands, and unless I struck by lightning, I will repeat the words of the Holy Shekinah to conclude and to bless this place in joy, because finally we have another temple, a new temple, same church, same work, same temple of the mysteries, but a different sheath, a different space suit, that we have a different suit of clothing. And it says, be at peace, my sanctuary. Be at peace, my holy house. Be at peace, my luminous temple. Be at peace, my precious dwelling. Be at peace. Be at peace. Be at peace.
Now I will ask on my brother from the dark and rainy Pacific Northwest, our dear brother Bishop, whom a couple of years ago Bishop Rosamond and I conferred the episcopate on my friend Stephen Marshall.
Well, I only have a few words to say. And my thanks and my gratitude for being here at this momentous occasion. It is such a great honor, and to witness really what I consider the cathedral of the Gnosis. And I'm reminded that this cathedral is now dedicated to the Holy Sophia and the Prophet Mani. And I thought of a message from the Prophet Mani that particularly, I think, pertains to this day. I'm paraphrasing it, but it has something to do with care for the trees, which are the spiritual community. And trees grow to the light. This is what they do. That is their nature, and that's also our spiritual nature, to grow to the light. And we need soil, we need a structure, a place, a material basis from which that growth can occur, and this is it. So I encourage you to support this material basis of the mysteries, so that and support each other. And because a cathedral is, a church is not a church without people in it. And so come support it with your presence, your material gifts, so that it may continue and that we may grow into the light together. Amen.